We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. You just locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. It's Brandon Month's Advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you guys doing? This is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, and by that music, you know that I am ready to go racing on a Sunday. So let's go. One of my favorite tracks, the tracks that I've been to at least 13 times. So I love Phoenix, even though I had to deal with those shitty repave years. But anyway, so let me hop right into this TicketGuardian 500. Also, just a preface right here. I'm not here to tell you how DraftKings scores, how FanDuel scores. I'm not here to baby you. I am here to give my opinions, and that is what I'm going to do. So here we are. First off, a little update from last week. So last week, Jimmy Johnson was sick, like horribly sick the last part of the race, and a lot of people wrote him off. A lot of people didn't, or a lot of people were saying that he's washed up or whatever. Like, Jimmy Johnson isn't washed up. I don't know if I'm going to be picking him this week, but Jimmy Johnson is not washed up. He was really sick last week, and he always gets off to a slow start every season, so just pump your brakes on that. So, first off, I do expect better racing this week than the previous weeks with this package, mainly because this is what they've already ran here before in the past, other than the extra downforce. It's still going to be a snooze fest. It's still going to be single file everywhere. It's still going to be just one leader just dominating the race, but other than that, I think it'll at least be a little bit more entertaining, but it's still going to be a snooze fest. Going off of qualifying, like, why do we have a 10-minute first round qualifying if nobody is going to go out? Like, what is the point of this? Why, like, if everyone's going to go out with 1 minute left, why the fuck even do fucking group qualifying anymore? That makes no sense whatsoever. Then I'm sure everyone saw Suarez and McDowell getting in that fight. That was pretty sweet, with Suarez just fucking knocking McDowell on the ground there. But so let me look at the stats right here. I'm just gonna throw out practice one. I don't give two flying shits about practice one. Those guys were in Q trim, not any. There's like no one doing a race run or anything like that. So I'm just gonna throw out practice one. Looking at practice two, this is when I start looking at my stats this year. As I said before, entering this year, I'm throwing out track history. This setup or this package is just destroying that history, so I'm not using that at all. So I'm just going off of what the cars are running this week. I don't care if someone has sucked at these tracks in the past. I don't care if someone has dominated at this track in the past. I'm looking at you, Kevin Harvick. I might not be using you. I don't think I think I'm gonna be way under-owned on Harvick this weekend. I really am compared to the rest of the field. But anyway, so practice two, people that I like from here, and I've gotten feedback. Apparently, some of you guys don't know the car numbers that people drive, and I figured you guys would know car numbers over driver names anyway, so I'll just go back to using driver names for all y'all so I don't confuse anyone. But so far from practice 2, based off of both top speed and 10 lap averages, so without counting 10 lap averages in practice 2, Ryan Blaney, Keselowski, Larson, and Bowman stand out to me, including the 10 average speeds. I really like Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, not Daniel Suarez, Martin Truex Jr., and Clint Boyer. Moving on to practice 3, people that stand out to me without the 10 lap averages that I like is Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Eric Almirola. Including 10 lap averages, guys that I like are Logano, Harvick, Almirola, Blaney, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Boyer, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Alex Bowman. Now, you might be like, well, this doesn't make any sense. You're just counting down like basically the top 10 and 10 lap averages. Yes, but this is important because this is how I find out who I consistently like, especially for these DFS videos. I like to have people that I have a consistent like for. So, based on practice and qualifying, right now my my for sure win that I'm going to probably be owning Larson's going to be chalk to begin with. I might not use as much Kyle, and I might end up using more Kurt Busch, or not Kurt Busch. I might end up using more Clint Bowyer. He's only $8,400 on DraftKings this week, and he's starting in the back. Yes, he's going to be chalk, but look at the speeds that Boyer's running. I mean, granted, I said Bowyer. I was really wanting Bowyer to win Atlanta or one of these earlier races this year, but I'm a real fan of Bowyer this weekend. I really like Bowyer. I also really like Joey Logano. He's 10,300, and if you can fit Logano in with another Dominator, you're going to be on an island, because it's going to be hard as fuck with Logano at 10.3 and then fitting in another guy that might be at like 12,000 or whatever. And then I really like Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch is only 8,800, and I think if you use a combination of Clint Bowyer and Kurt Busch, you can get off the Kyle Larson chalk, vice versa. If you use like Larson and Bowyer and fade Kurt Busch or whatnot, I think that's how we're going to have to get off the chalky situations. And then two other guys that I really like this week for like not punt plays but like lower owned and really cheap guys is actually McDowell and Reagan, because I don't think a lot of people are going to pick McDowell just because they saw his ass get kicked by Suarez, and he has had some goddamn shit finishes this year. And then Reagan, no one ever talks about Reagan, but Reagan has ran better practice speeds between practice 2 and 3 compared to McDowell. So I think I'm going to be a little bit over owned on Reagan compared to the field, and under owned on Harvick throughout the field. Let me go through the starting lineup, or not the starting lineup, but at least the guys on where they're starting of what I expect. So you'll see what I mean here. There's only 36 cars this weekend. Like, way to go, NASCAR. But we still don't have a full field. Bailey Curry in the 52 car. Fuck you. I ain't picking you. Quinn Hoof, I ain't picking him. Cody Ware in the 51 car. I'm not picking Cody Ware. I'm not picking Ross Chastain, because everyone was like, oh, you better pick Ross Chastain last week, and he didn't do anything. And then Landon Castle, not picking Landon Castle. Kyle Larson is where I'm going to start Matt Tiff. He's starting 30th. Like, man, it'd be great if Matt Tiff could actually do something. But I don't know what's up with Matt. I don't know if it's the car, I don't know if it's him. But Matt Tiff's a way better driver than how he's been finishing. He just doesn't show the speed that I trust. And because of that, I would skip Matt Tiff and use Reagan before that. And then the main chalk of the weekend is easily going to be Kyle Larson, Suarez, Bowyer, and those are going to be the three main guys in the back that people are going to use. That's why I was saying if you can use a combination of like Kurt Busch and Logano and Bowyer, or like something like that, for example, you're going to get off the chalk and you're going to have a much better leverage against the field. Continuing onwards, we have McDowell starting 27th. So this is why I like David Reagan over McDowell, because Reagan has had better lap times, and he's starting 2 positions lower. And this race is going to be boring. It's going to be a lap turner. So speaking of that, I honestly expect 3 cautions due to tires blowing in this race. I really do. I don't know why I'm thinking that. But I really think we're going to have a lot of tires being blown this weekend. And a guy like David Reagan is the one that I don't think is going to be blowing tires, and I think he's going to be able to at least stay 1 lap down and maybe possibly be on the lead lap when most of those things happen. So he's going to gain you, or if everything works out, he's going to gain you positions. And a lot of people like Matt DiBenedetto this weekend. I'm not really seeing it. I don't see a whole lot of things pointing to DiBenedetto like kicking ass. Like, he was 27th fastest in the 3rd practice and 17th fastest in 2nd practice. But I just don't feel it with Matt DiBenedetto. I just don't like that. I don't like Corey LaJoie. I don't like Bubba Wallace. And while I've been on the Ryan Preece bandwagon, I don't think I'm going to use Ryan Preece this weekend. He seems to be struggling a lot at this track. It's really tough for him from how he's been driving, from what he's been saying, and I don't think I'm going to have Ryan Preece this weekend. I might end up throwing him in like 1 lineup. but I don't like Ryan Preece. I'd much rather go with Chris Buescher. He's showing fast speeds, at least in the 10-lap averages in the second practice, and he's starting 22nd. So if he finishes 18th, I'm perfectly fine with that. Not going to use Ty Dillon. Stenhouse is pissing me off because he races like a fucking idiot. I don't think I'm going to use Stenhouse. Ryan Newman probably won't use him. Paul Menard. I might use him if I think a lot of people are going to jump on Kurt Busch, and I might use Jimmy Johnson if I think a lot of people are going to hop on Kurt Busch. I'm going to see what the census is, or what like Twitter land and everything like that is saying tomorrow before I make my lineups. I haven't. Usually I have a couple lineups made. I haven't made any lineups so far this weekend. And this is Saturday night at 9 o'clock. So we'll see what I do tonight. And then we got two guys that I said that I really liked. Eric Almirola starting 14th and Logano starting 12th. I'd much rather go with those guys over Austin Dillon, Hemrick, Jones. So like pretty much the top 10 right now, even though Kevin Harvick's starting 8th, and God, everyone's going to own Kevin Harvick. But man, dude, Kevin Harvick does not have the car this weekend. He does not have the car. I don't think he's going to win it, and I don't think he's going to lead. Yes, he was third quickest final practice, but I think Blaney, I really think Blaney's going to end up leading at least the first stage, and I don't think Harvick's going to be able to get up to him because there's way too many fast guys up there, and they're going to slow Harvick down, and you're going to see it's going to be really hard to pass this weekend. It's going to be really hard to pass tomorrow, so I really don't like Harvick this weekend. He hasn't shown the dominating speed that he's shown in the past, and this package is throwing everybody for a loop. So I mean, I could be wrong here, but I'm not going with Harvick this weekend. I don't think Harvick's going to do it. If I had to pick a race winner this weekend, god dang it, I really like Logano, Blaney. Man, that is a tough one. And I like Kyle Busch too. I think it's going to be between those guys. It's really hard for me to pick on Phoenix just because this track is so fucking boring. And it's really slow. This comes from a guy who paid to be at this racetrack 13 times, but it's a lap turner. What is it? I think most of the recent winners have come from the top 10 right now, and I think it's going to easily come from the top 5 tomorrow. So Blaney, Busch, or Logano. Honestly, I think those are the guys that you need to beat, and I think that's what's gonna happen tomorrow. So, guys, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, message me on Twitter, comment on YouTube on this video, and I will get to you as soon as we can. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. Don't get married to your money, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you very much.